Hey, it's Jerad. I wanted to share a tool that I'm using for booking and scheduling. It's called FluentBooking. Now, I've talked about other Fluent plugins for WordPress on this channel, and I'm using several of their plugins to create my own marketing system that's integrated with my website and doesn't require a whole bunch of third-party connections. FluentBooking is a new tool that I've invited into my workflow, I guess you could call it, and I'm using it on a couple of different websites. And I came from Calendly. I'd been using Calendly for a lot of years. I did take a small sidestep and used the Microsoft tool, whatever it's called, Microsoft Booking or something, for a few minutes, didn't really like it, and went right back to Calendly. Calendly has always worked out really well, and I'd say it's probably one of the more popular options out there because it's not terribly expensive and it has a lot of features and integrations. So why FluentBooking? Why would I go and use a WordPress plugin to accomplish something that a company like Calendly has already created and has working well? Well, I am trying to minimize the amount of connections between different services that I have going on, because with the more connections that I have, the more things I need to stay on top of. Sometimes integrations stop working, and it's just much easier if you can have everything working from within one system. And so since I'm using Fluent CRM on my website, and I'm also using that for email marketing, I'm using Fluent Forms, it made sense to also use Fluent Booking so that on my photography website, when somebody wants to book me for a real estate photography job or for a drone photography, something like that, they can just go right into my website and book it there. And then it will trigger emails and different things based on whatever it is that they're booking. And it's just a great process. So first, let's just take a look at what FluentBooking looks like on my website. This is my real estate booking page, and it has my pricing here. And if somebody clicks on Schedule Now, it will open up a tab, and then they will have the option to book a time. So they can click on one of these, choose a time, click Next. It shows them the price over here. They can then fill out their information. I have both Stripe and PayPal connected, so they could choose which option. And once they fill this out and make the payment, it will book the photography job in my calendar, and everything's ready to go. Now, they'll also, because I have it configured this way, get a follow-up email that will give them some information that they need to know about their real estate session, such as things to have out of the way, have the lights on, just different things that help the photography job go smoothly, and that we don't end up wasting time on the photography job just getting the property ready. I want my client to get the most photos that they can out of their session, and so if they have things ready and they feel prepared, we can show up, take pictures, and not have to do any other preparations. Because I have FluentBooking integrated with Fluent CRM, after this process is done, then they get that email, and they're also added to my email list. Lots of good things are taking place in the back end. So I'm also using a FluentBooking form on my digital growth strategy session page, and this allows a potential client to book a 15-minute strategy session. And very simple, this is connected to my Google Calendar, so it's showing my personal availability, just like the other calendar we looked at. And I also have some limited criteria in here to also just tighten down my calendar availability, so that way they have less availability, because I only want to take those calls during certain times of the day and of the week. And so we can choose one of those, hit next. We've got a couple of questions that they can answer here. They can put in their phone number, their website address, and then after they schedule this, they're actually going to get a more detailed form that has a series of questions for them to answer, so that I can make sure I have the information that I need so they can get the most out of that 15-minute session. Now, the reason that I don't have this big long form at the beginning is because I don't want there to be some massive barrier to entry with a bunch of questions on the front end before somebody books that call. I want them to book the call and then get the extra questions via an email, and then they can work on that in their spare time between the booking and the actual call. On top of that, it also subscribes them to the newsletter and gets them access to my weekly email that goes out Mondays. So let's go ahead and look at the back end and look at calendars. It looks very much like Calendly as far as all of my different packages that are listed here and the different criteria, whether it's a one-to-one or one-to-group type of event. And so you can see I've got myself here. I am the host of this particular calendar. So this is one calendar here. This is my calendar. You can see I have my host settings right here. So this is connected to my Google Calendar. So it gets my availability and they book based on my availability that's already on my calendar. So if I have something in my Google Calendar that is for a certain date or time, it's not going to make that time available for somebody to pick one of these options. Now, when I click on host details, this is where you would connect your Google Calendar and add in your specific host details like your avatar, additional information. We connect our remote calendars here, such as Google Calendar. And then there's also Zoom integration that you can connect if you use Zoom. Creating a new event type is really easy. You can create a one-to-one or one host with a group of invites. And so if I hit one-to-one, I just simply give my event a name, a description, a duration, and a location. So you can choose online conferencing, in person, or phone. And you can also add additional location options there as well. And then as you go through this process, you have more questions. We'll just go ahead and look at this drone starter package here so that we can see what one of these looks like. We have our availability. How far in advance will I let somebody book this? I'll let somebody book up to 60 days in advance. I can then modify my availability here as well. And so you can see I have my availability set between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. I don't want anything to go after 5 p.m. So the latest booking for this particular 30-minute session would be 4:30 p.m. Now, I can also set limitations like how much time I want before or after the event, how much notice I need to book it. I can also limit the booking frequency, total booking duration, and then I can add additional booking questions. So I can build out a booking form in advance to ask questions before somebody books. And so all I have to do is hit add more questions, and you can add text questions, drop downs, checkboxes, multi-selection options, all of those different form entries that you can use for booking questions. And then there's also other questions down here like reason for cancellation, reason for rescheduling, and you can edit the text and information that's in that as well to ask additional questions and customize that based on the type of booking that you have. You can also customize all of the email notifications for this individual booking, which is great. I can build out the notifications that are going to go out to the person who signed up and customize that based on this type of booking. And so notification confirmation to the attendee, to the organizer. What message are they going to get if they cancel or reschedule? All of this is customizable, or you can even turn them on or off if you don't want them. Now, what's cool is that you also have SMS notifications as well. You have to integrate with Twilio, which is really simple. You sign up for a Twilio account. Text message notifications are extremely inexpensive. It's only going to cost maybe a few cents per text message. And so if you set this up, you can actually send text message notifications from your website as well for appointment reminders, which is something that I haven't integrated yet. Now, there's also advanced settings. So if I wanted to customize the booking title or the submit button, which originally said schedule meeting, I chose for it to say schedule session because this is a photography session. And then I can also redirect after booking to a special page on my website, like a thank you page or a more information page. I can choose whether this booking requires confirmation, like manually accepting that booking before allowing it to be added to my calendar. Then there's also features like attendee cannot cancel or reschedule. And then you can customize and create a landing page for this specific form as well. Now, it's very easy to connect and integrate with Stripe or PayPal. You can set those options up in the settings, and then they become selectable options when you're creating your booking. And you can also add additional payment items and fees as well. Now, FluentBooking supports webhooks, and so if you wanted to use something like Zapier to connect your FluentBooking to something else, you can create a webhook and connect it that way. And then there's also integrations here, which allows you to integrate directly with Fluent CRM. And there's also a variety of other tools that FluentBooking integrates with. So FluentBooking is a premium plugin, and so it does have a cost right now of $63 per year for a one-site license. That's going to get you unlimited access to the plugin and all of its features. Now, if we look at Calendly, Calendly is free. You can use it for free, but you don't get to use it to accept payments, and it's very limited on its feature set. So you end up paying $10 a month at the minimum to get access to Calendly so you can create your scheduling forms. Notice that free only allows you to set up one-on-ones, and so that's not many, and you don't get to set up group events if you choose free. Calendly is a minimum of $10, and the $10 a month option gets you most of the features that you would need as an individual user. I've never needed to go up to the Teams option or anything higher than the $10 a month on Calendly. But with that said, FluentBooking is cheaper, $63 per year instead of what would be $120 a year. So it's almost half the price. and it integrates directly with your WordPress website. Obviously, FluentBooking is going to require a WordPress website because it's a WordPress plugin, but everything then is right in the back end of your WordPress site. And if you're curious about the CRM features that Fluent CRM offers, I've got a whole separate video on how that works and how I'm using Fluent CRM with my websites. So I've opted to go with FluentBooking because I prefer to have everything integrated with my website and not have a whole bunch of different tools that I then have to connect through a variety of different integrations. Let's actually take a look at what that looks like on a mobile device. So that's an important one, is people being able to sign up on a smartphone. So you can see my digital growth strategy session here, and we've got the form, very nice. And if I tap on these, it just toggles me right through, and very nice, very simple process on my site. And it looks great, it looks professional, and it looks like it was designed within my website. Whereas Calendly forms definitely look embedded in your website, your FluentBooking forms look like they're part of your website because they actually are. So I've been using FluentBooking for a couple of weeks now. I'll definitely be back in a couple of months after I've had a lot more bookings come through and give a recap on my experience with FluentBooking. But so far, I'm enjoying the process, the simplicity, and the integration with my own website. I've got a link to FluentBooking down in the description below, so make sure to check that out. If you have any questions about it, I'll do my best to answer those in the comments. If you found this video useful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you back in another one. Take care.